we've spoken about this time and time again. Your
Mhm.
brand, your personality. What do people know about you? How close do people feel before they actually speak to you? That is going to make everything so much easier. And so the better job that you do that, the easier job you're going to have, of course, getting people on the phone, but also just conversing with people on the phone.
Mhm.
And so none of this replaces that, and know that your brand amplifies all of this.
This is the Online Trainer Show, Trainer Show, Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show. We shouldn't have a podcast.
People listen to us, guys.
That is so weird.
Legitimately, people listen to us.
So weird.
Like a growing amount of people listen to us. It's not an insignificant number anymore. I think
It's very strange.
despite all of our best efforts, despite all of our very concerted efforts, really, we've tried very hard to not be good at this. I really do think that we're starting to have some success. And for that, I'm proud and also confused.
It's like when you're taking out the trash and you find a 20 in it before you tie the bag up. You're like, oh, that's where I dropped that $20 bill. That's in essence what our show is. People are just people have found loose money in our in the trash that is the Online Trainer Show. Random people have found $20 bills that they thought they lost earlier. Oh, that must have slipped out of my pocket right into the trash. And here we are.
All that I'm hearing is that I am now famous, so I'm gonna become even more intolerable. Just FYI.
Is that a wine glass?
No, it's water. It's water. I'm sorry to disappoint. I'm still on my streak of being sober every single time. Every single time.
Again, very proud of you. I know how difficult it is for you to do. To stay sober at 1:15 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I mean, at least 2 days out of the week, midday, you're going to be sober now.
What can I say? I'm committed to my craft.
The streak is.
I'm glad that you're committed to this show.
The streak is alive. Way to go,
I was asked to be a guest on a podcast earlier today, and I responded back that when he had done his 100th episode, I'd be a guest on it.
Oh, that's what I do.
And I think it's just one of those, because there's a lot of really good people. Like, if I would love to be on as many podcasts as I could be on it, but the reality of it is most podcasts don't have anybody listening to them. And so I wouldn't say that it's necessarily a waste of my time, because it's great to connect with whoever the host is, but it's not a particularly good use of my time.
Right.
But if somebody's done 100 episodes, it's like, yo, you're committed to this. Like, I'm happy to do it. Whenever somebody sends me a message, we're just like, hey, I'm starting a podcast. I'd love for you to be, one of the first few guests. Like, I don't think that I'd like to be one of like turn up a little bit, y'all.
It's like, heck, we're not even at the 100th episode. Like, what are you doing here, Jonathan? You should come back only when we're beyond 100.
Well, and we're not. I mean, we've had recommended to us by the production company we work with and a few other people. Like, oh, you guys should have guests on. That's a great way to expand your audience. And we're like, well, first off, we already have 4 people. Like, we don't need a 5th. So, one of us has to go if we get a guest. I don't know who that's going to be, but I'm gonna let
Amber is like, I volunteer as tribute.
Yeah, Amber's not even talking, and her face has gone purple. But the second thing is, it's just like, yo, we're not even that good yet. Like, we're gonna start having guests on when we don't even really know what this thing is. I mean, it takes so much time, and for those of you who have started from the beginning with us to figure out how to do this thing in a way that works for us. It's seriously difficult to get a show to work when you're thinking of the camaraderie, the characters, trying to educate, but also just have people enjoy and have fun listening to this, and have 4 different people beaming in from 4 different places on 4 different internet connections, and have halfway decent sound quality.
Right.
I mean, it takes time to figure that stuff out, to fall into a flow, to get to know each other, to build inside jokes. It's like, we're not that good yet, right? And we're okay with that. That's okay. Um,
It,
but
it's
anyway,
it's
but
true.
I digress.
Yeah, I think what really simplifies it for me is that I never really understood that we were actually trying to educate people. So that although that's a shock to me to find that out today, I think it's really served me up until this point because I thought we were just rambling, you know. And
Yeah,
like I
for the
said,
first 40 episodes, it just
Jonathan's voice for me is like an overdose of melatonin. So I typically fall asleep as soon as he starts to talk. So
I
and
was
then
tired on Tuesday. I was tired last episode, man.
you're beat, man. Like
I was beat. I was
you
hurting.
the juice was gone. Like you
Yeah.
had nothing. You had
I
nothing. It
feel
was
better. I feel better today. I
it
feel
was
better
it
today.
was a it was a poor example of leadership across the board, Jonathan. If I can, if, I know I know this is a safe space and we can talk freely, but I was like,
This is
I was
not a safe
really,
space, and you
I'm telling
cannot
you,
talk freely. You do not
yeah.
have
I
permission to
mean,
do that.
seriously, like
How
I was
dare
a
you, sir?
stone. I was just a step away from throwing my OTA textbooks in the garbage, man. I was like, to hell with this entire enterprise. Um, like I was like, this is the point where he's exhausted everything he's had. Like he's given it all to us, and there's nothing left here. Like
Peaks and valleys,
I
my
need to
friend.
disassociate myself with the entire organization as quickly as possible.
How
I
many
don't
times
think
have we
people will
said this?
remember
Peaks and
me.
valleys. Peaks and
Yes.
valleys. There are
So
peaks and there are valleys. This podcast is no exception. A prime example. I think that this episode might be a peak, though.
yeah, okay, because I'm
Ooh.
serious. I was about to be like PTDC, brother. Like I'm out. Like I wasn't gonna stick around for the rest of it. But and then I showed up here, so that's a good thing.
Late.
This
I mean, late. You were late.
Yeah, I was late. Well, I couldn't find so for the people out there listening, and I hope this podcast episode sounds amazing. I hope we're getting the quality of sound in post production that we aspire to as podcast people. So we're using two different technologies now, right? Because it wasn't complicated enough to have four people on a Zoom call. Now we got
Mhm.
four people on a Zoom for video and four people on a completely different platform for audio
Right.
across borders. So I logged into the wrong thing. So when I logged into our audio thing, the Zen Master, the Zen Blaster, whatever it is, they don't pay us, so I don't have to say it right.
No, we don't have to get their name right.
Yeah, I don't have to get their name right. Their names could be Spot and Debbie for all I care. But when I logged into it, it said I was already in there and the recording had ended. And I was like, well, I didn't even start the recording. So my last recording was hanging over from last time. I didn't know what to do. I don't have the at Amber Reynolds keyboard like Jonathan Goodman has, where I can just
Or type.
everybody I can literally take two fists, pound on the keyboard, and they all go to Amber Reynolds. I had to ask questions. So Amber guided me in like the runway personnel at your favorite airport with the two flashlights. She helped me land the plane, and voila, here you guys go. You're welcome. So I didn't see the topic today. There's a topic.
That's a great topic today.
I,
Amber, why don't you read the topic? Because I know how much you like talking on the podcast.
La Chameleon. So what color will Amber turn today, guys? I'm thinking of fuchsia.
It's a nice shade of pinkish purple. There's her face the minute that I called that. You're super quiet though, Amber. Did you turn your mic way down on purpose?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're super
I can't hear.
you're
a
super
thing
far
you're saying.
away.
Is that better?
Oh,
Oh, that's
great.
much better.
So much for the pro. All right. Well, today's topic: how to turn a complimentary conversation into a client.
Ooh,
No, we
sounds-
changed it. I sent you a change on that.
No, I don't have anything here that says.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Welcome to the
I'm
online
gonna go
trainer
in-
show.
I'm gonna go into Slack.
So listen,
I'm
so
gonna
while
read
we're doing this,
new one.
I'm actually going to tell a story that complements the concept of imperfect action. And this is an example that we had in our group for OTA 2, and it was amazing. So it was actually a really difficult situation in which one of the coaches had a dangerous situation in, their client went into pretty much like cardiac arrest as they were having a one-on-one session. And so this
Oh
trainer,
yeah,
remember that? We saw that story.
yeah,
And so this trainer, he starts
yeah.
performing CPR, and a neighbor is able to call the paramedics. And in the end, the client was fine and everything. But of course, this coach is reaching out for support because what a scary situation. If you've ever had something like that happen, how horrible, right? And he was kind of like running over the scenario and saying, what if I could have done something better? What if I could have done, what if I did things wrong? And actually, one of our
Hmm.
level 2 coaches, Alex, he is a firefighter. He lives in my same city and he's a firefighter.
Hmm.
And as a first responder, he told this coach, like, you know what? I've never attended a call in which no one took any kind of action and the outcome was good, which tells us even imperfect
Right.
CPR, even imperfect action is way better than no action at all. So
Absolutely.
even if you did things wrong, the fact that you
Absolutely.
sprung into action made all the difference for this client. And the client is now recovering and things are going well. So, but again, imperfect action,
That's
even in
awesome.
life.
What a good story.
What a great story.
That's so good. This is the thing that, and I know that's not what this episode
Let's
is
get to the
about.
topic, though. Let's get to
Yeah.
the topic because
What
we still haven't talked about it. Amber, what is the actual topic now that you've written to me in Slack that you found the note that I wrote here?
It's tagged me, so I actually get a notification, just saying. But the 13 steps to successful online training sales calls.
There you
Okay,
go.
I love this.
Nice.
Sales calls. This is a big deal.
Da,
So
da, da, da.
this sounds like plenty of space for me to take a nap, also, which is beautiful. I got 13 points here. So, Jonathan, I'm not going to distract you any further. Thanks for the topic, though. The informational kiddo. You helped save us while we were literally recording our podcast and deciding what the topic was going to be on the fly.
I
You
don't know
saved us.
what's worse. I don't know what's worse, to not
Okay.
have any idea going into it what you're going to talk about, or to have such a confused idea of what you're going to talk about that different hosts think you're going to be talking about different things. I don't know what's better. I don't know what's better.
I think it's
Neither of them are
absolutely
good.
fine.
We can agree on one thing. Neither is good.
Right. They're probably both bad. It's it's probably not advisable for you guys out there building your own podcast. Here's a lesson for you.
Don't do it.
It's probably not advisable if the podcast producer does not know what the topic is for that podcast discussion. That it's a clear red flag. It's a sign that things probably are a bit off the rails for your podcast. But when you have a team around you that's so competent and capable and confident, as the don't do that, Amber. As the team on the online trainer show, you got Carol to jump in with the human interest story of the day, which is awesome. Our in the field correspondent, Catalina Belmontes. You got Jonathan communicating on backdoor channels, uh, you know, off grid channels. What are we talking about today? And I just ramble. I just ramble until something happens, and then you've got a show. And somebody said we were one of the best shows in our category. We got ranked on something the other day.
Yeah,
So
we got ranked as the best,
fitness,
what was it? The best
fitness and health.
podcast during COVID to build your fitness business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Best fitness
Ooh,
and
that
health.
was the list that we
Something
were on.
like
Yeah,
something like that. I
yeah,
don't
something
really
like
know.
that. So,
It's
some
pretty
such
clear that they
thing.
didn't listen to any episode.
And right, and this
God.
product is what got us on that list. So we're not changing it anytime soon. Just deal with it. So Jonathan, take it away because
One
I
iota.
you're right. I know how it is when you have you have your list of things that you want to address.
I do. Look,
Do it.
there's like three
Do
things on
it.
it.
I'm pretty sure that was algebra homework on that pad, Jonathan. But whatever. So take it away because I'm personally invested in this topic. I'm interested for once.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're great at sales. We've spoken
Pretty good.
before. You have 10 years in insurance sales before
Yeah.
training,
I've done
right? So
the
you can throw
thing.
down. You could
Yeah,
throw down. So
yeah.
you could definitely add some stuff to this. I mean, this is the I guess more advanced sales system that we teach in level 2 of the Online Trainer Academy. So level 1, if you're in level 1 of the Online Trainer Academy, you'll recognize snippets of it. But what I've intentionally done with the programs as we've built them up is tried to meet you where you are. instead of giving you this very in-depth, very involved sales process, like at the beginning of your online training career, I give you just enough for you to gain some comfort in it. And then when people move on to level 2, we go deeper, of course, and it's a lot more work to put it together, and we require you to practice it and stuff like that to go through the program. And so if you're thinking right now, it's like, oh, that seems like a lot. It's like, it is, but this is what constitutes an exceptional sales process.
Right.
And what allows you to sell training that is more expensive to more people and have people happily buy it.
Yes.
This is the difference, and I think you'll see that.
Is this going to be a note-taking episode? Do they need to get out there?
This will certainly be a note-taking episode. Amber, take some notes for the, for the podcast.
Grab your pen and your pad, folks. If you're listening in the car, do not grab your pen or your pad. We won't be held liable. I want to throw that out there. But yeah, if you can, take some notes here, or listen this time, revisit, and take some notes. It's going to be a good one.
So before we start, I'm going to talk about the 13 steps of it, and I'm going to go through each step reasonably quickly because we chatted about nonsense for so long that we don't have a lot of time to go.
Yeah, we run out of time for the actual content.
I really apologize about that.
Yeah. It's our way. It's what we do.
It's our way of doing things. But this idea that like you need to make a really good impression before you actually get on the call, and that will make things a lot easier for you. So this is not one of the 13 steps. This is just something to keep in mind. Like we've spoken about this time and time again. Your brand, your personality. What do people know about you? How close do people feel before they actually speak to you? That is going to make everything so much easier. And so the better job that you do that, the easier job you're going to have, of course, getting people on the phone, but also just conversing with people on the phone. And so none of this replaces that, and know that your brand amplifies all of this. And that's why you need to continually build it. Now, the next thing is, before you even get on the call, again, this is before the 13 steps. Let's say somebody books in with you. You want to make sure that you confirm the call with them. And the easiest way to do that is to send a quick text message to them and say, hey, this is John. Just wondering if this is the best phone number to reach you at for our call tomorrow. And like, they gave you their phone number on the application thing. Of course, it's the best phone number, but all that you want to do is touch base before the call in a very soft way. It's basically like the first yes of the process. So you want to touch base with them in a very soft way, build a connection, remind them about the call. And this is just a really nice, easy way to do it. That's like a quick initial yes. And they might actually kick back to you like some questions right then. If they do, just say, hey, do you mind holding on to those questions? Like, I've taken a note of them too. I'm more than happy to talk to you about them, but I'd love to cover these in our call tomorrow. Is that okay? Because your text message back and forth isn't really like a time you're going to be going deeper. So that's beforehand. Then when it comes time to the call, you give them a shout. They pick up the phone. You initially want to build rapport.
Yes.
1 to 2 minutes. Say their name. I cannot stress how important this is. Say their name. The amount of times, I mean, this goes beyond, like, obviously in a call, you're not going to spell somebody's name wrong. The amount of times people will spell my name wrong, like John, like there was a podcast that just went live this morning where it's John. It's like, yo, we've hung out. Our families have hung out. Like, I know that this is an assistant of yours or a staff member of yours that did this, like, but like, have a checklist, man. Spell people's names properly. Like, it is not hard to do. And say their name. Don't get their names wrong. I mean, this goes without saying. Next up, like, pick up on their language. Like, if they're the type of person that says, like, hey, dude, hey, bro, like, respond back in kind. Amber does a really, really good job of having her own kind of like lexicon for her community. I know Carolina does too, of just ways that people speak to each other. Like, use that. It's the same thing. Don't fall into the trap of being like fit pros where you don't want to use certain words like lean, like metabolic, like whatever, because you're afraid of what those words actually mean or don't mean. Like, if your client uses them, then you use them. And that's really important. The other thing that you want to make sure that you do, and this is just like a good kind of general rule for the sales call, is you want to aim to be speaking 15 to 20% of the time. So just know as you're talking, it's your job to ask questions and guide a conversation. That's it. Your goal of this conversation is really to get them to understand why they need you. It's not to convince them to need you, it's to get them to understand why they do in their own words and come to that conclusion themselves. Persuasion 101 dictates that you cannot persuade people. The way that you persuade people, the way that you motivate people to take action is you guide their thinking, you guide their thought process, their conversations in their dialogues in a way that gets them to make a decision themselves, or at least believe that they're making a decision themselves, which, I mean, they are, right? This person is on the phone with you because they need help, or else they wouldn't be on the phone with you.
Right.
How the questions that they're going to need to answer is, why now? Why you? How much is this worth to me? And so you're going to go deeper. Right after the small talk, you want to immediately just like set the frame. So after a few minutes, something as simple of, copy down this line. Obviously, name, like obviously Amber, we've only got a short time together, so I want to be respectful of that. We really just scratched the surface in our initial messages. This call is where we go deep and figure out how I can help you. We might discuss some things we've already spoken about, but we're going to take them one step farther. To do that, we need to get clarity in 3 areas. First, I'd like to understand where you are right now. Second, I want to see how things got to that point. And third, I'd love to get a sense of where you want to be and figure out how to get there. And of course, if there's something I can help you with, great, I will. But if not, don't worry. I've got a lot of resources I can point you towards. So either way, you'll leave this call with some next steps. Does that sound good? So immediately now, you've set the frame. And literally, like every single call, you can just repeat that. So practice saying that, because the way your tonality matters. But you can say that, and immediately now they kind of know what you're talking about. They know that you might have something that's going to help them, but they also know you're in the corner, and then you're just getting them to basically give you permission to move on to the next stage, which is just some discovery questions. Now, the way that you kind of build out your script optimally is it's not a script that you read. It's a series of bullet points. And as they're talking, you actually want to be writing notes, because ideally by the end of it, once you get more practiced, you want to be actually repeating back their language to them. So you told me that you want. You told me that this is a problem. And the better you can do that, the better job you're going to be able to get. But in the Ask Discovery questions, just like start with basic questions, like how much do you currently weigh? How tall are you? What's your ideal healthy weight? What's your diet like? What specifically did you eat for dinner yesterday or for lunch? How often do you exercise? What's a typical workout for you? Depending on obviously
I
their
think
goals,
you froze.
you want to.
So when you're asking those we call those
depending on
discovery
who are you
questions. You're
working
asking
with.
those discovery questions
Step number
to
4
get a
is digging
sense
deep
of where
into
the
the
client
real
is.
problem.
So
So the
one
goal
great
here is
thing
to
about
make- is
this,
to make
this oh, he's back. There he is. I was just saying that those are discovery questions to figure out where the client is and what the situation is currently. Take it away, Jonathan.
Did I
With
cut
no
out? I
H.
apologize. Step number 4 is digging deep into the real problem. So the goal of the section is to make this person realize their problems are bigger than they originally thought, and they can't turn a blind eye to it anymore. Basically, like, this has gotten as far as it can get. And if I don't do something about this now, it's going to be past the point of no return. This is this idea of why now. And part 4 or step 4 and step 3 are kind of the same. So as they're talking about their problems, the best way to get this information out of them is to really ask, is to get very, very good at follow-up questions. And this is, in Online Trainer Academy Level 1, I basically say, like, you want to ask why 3 times, right? Like, you want to, why do you think that is, or whatever. But what we're getting in here is much deeper than that. And I want to give you the questions to ask, because the better you get at asking the questions, the better you're going to get at making sales. It's honestly as simple as that. And you'll see when I say them. So can you elaborate on that? How do you mean? Can you tell me more about that? Why do you find that frustrating? Why is that important to you? But why is it important to you now? And some of these questions, depending on who you are and how you ask them and the type of people you work with, are going to work better than others. All of them are going to get the person to go deeper and deeper and deeper. You're peeling back the onions. And trying to get them to really realize why it's important to them. And oftentimes, if you do this effectively, they will say things to you that they have never been able to verbalize before.
Sweet
And that's how
Lord, they
you
will.
know. Well, and that's how you know that. I mean, this isn't just about sales. Like, this is about giving yourself an opportunity to really deeply help people. Even if you do get the sale, if you've never really gotten in deep into the real why are they real, like their commitment to your program, to making a real change, and you knowing why they want to make a real change and what kind of change they really want to make, because it always goes deeper than weight loss. It always goes deeper than fat loss. This is how you learn those things so that you can best help them. Massively important. Get good at asking these questions. Step 5 now is you want to kind of jump to the other side. So if you've done this work in step 3 and 4, you've dug a lot deeper than expected and created a lot of tension. Now you want to add a little bit more by adding some contrast as to the tension to like where they want to be. So you're kind of envisioning the journey. So here's where you use a bit of transition. You can use a line like this. And this is where you're going to have to insert kind of what they told you in the call. So you can say, hey, Amber, I'm pretty clear on what's not working. Now let's have some fun. Let's imagine we're talking a year from now. You've identified your goal. You've put on 3 more pounds of rock solid muscle in those deltoids. So you can intimidate the hell out of those other mums at the park. This podcast is made possible by viewers like you. Except you're not viewers, you're listeners. Okay, well, I guess a word from our sponsors. If you're a fitness nutrition coach that's looking to master online coaching so that you can help more people, make more money, and have more freedom, then the Online Trainer Academy can help. OTA gives you the framework, knowledge, and support to have predictable success with your online coaching business. From marketing to business development to how to assess and motivate your clients online, it is constantly updated and refreshed to keep up with a dynamic market. Not only that, OTA is proven. In 7 years, we've helped over 30,000 coaches in 87 countries go online. Truth is, we know what works, so you can get right to the success part. And in case you're busy working a full-time job or you're a full-time parent, know that you can go at your own pace. There's no deadlines to complete OTA and you have lifetime access. That said, if you are ready to make a rapid change and finish the course in the next 8 to 12 weeks, you can expect to invest 3 to 5 hours each week on the program. And here's the best part, if you join today, you will make an extra $1,000 a month in 90 days, or I'll give you your money back. So if you're ready to build the fitness business you want and make the money you deserve, go to onlinetrainer.com/academy to enroll today, and I hope to see you in there. Are you still trying to pick your online training software? If so, let me make this easy for you. Go with PT Distinction. It's truly the best, and I'm not just saying that because they're our sponsor. We actually use PT Distinction for our own online fitness business, Online Trainer Coaching, and we're really happy with it. From onboarding to programming to client communication, PT Distinction has everything you need to run your online fitness business smoothly, and it's super simple to use. Now, normally they offer a free 30-day trial, but as a listener of the Online Trainer Show, you get a free 60-day trial, so you can make sure you love them before spending a dime. If you want to deliver first-class service to your clients while reclaiming your time, then visit onlinetrainer.com/PTD to sign up for your free 60-day trial today. What's the first thing I'll notice about Amber Reynolds 2.0? And as they start to describe themselves, again, ask more clarifying questions. Your job is not to speak. Your job is to help them go deeper. Oh, what's the best part about reaching that goal? Oh, tell me what kind of clothes you'd wear. Like, Amber, you're going to have to rip off all the sleeves of your shirt. Like, nothing. How is your day different? Right? What would you do or not do compared to now? How does this change your relationship? Like, you're not going to have any kind of an issue picking up your kid anymore. You're going to be able to throw Nate through the roof, Amber. Are you going to need to get higher ceilings?
Right.
What about work? How do your coworkers do you now? Right? How much more energy do you have? What do you do with it? I mean, all of these questions you can get an idea of what I'm doing here, right? I'm getting you to really envision a dream and how it feels and getting that cemented into your mind. If you and I were sitting on the beach 1 year from today, sipping coconut water, and you tell me, holy crap, John, this has been the best year of my life. What specifically are you referring to? What has to happen for this year to be spectacular? Right? So that's step 5, right? Envision the dream. Step 6 is just summarizing it. So once you feel like you've gone really deep, you want to summarize it again using their language. So just to make sure I understand you completely, it would be a life-changing year for you if you can achieve, and then there you're going to ideally list out 3 goals that they said in their own words. They'll say yes. Then you say, got it, awesome. Do you think having my support would get you to those goals faster? Yeah. Oh, why is that? Now is where you see the call is starting to shift to qualifying sales, right? You've gotten them to go deeper than they've probably ever gone. You've gotten them to verbalize things they probably have never verbalized before. You've gotten them to envision the other side and really paint a vivid picture of it. And you've gotten them to say that you're the one who's going to help them get there and why. And now they're starting to talk about you that way. So now we get into qualifying the prospect. This is step 7. Selling isn't talking, right? You guys have seen that already. Selling is asking good questions. It isn't telling people all of the amazing things you can do. It's customers telling you that they're worthy and that they really want to do it. And so here, you almost need to remind the prospect of your standards to make them understand that working with you is like a really special thing. Because it is. I mean, you're a special person. So you can say, like, Amber, can I be honest with you? What you're doing right now isn't getting you where you want to be. And if I'm going to help you get there, I need to know you're willing to hear some feedback that isn't necessarily what you want to hear. Would you be able to take my feedback? Okay, they answer. What I'm really getting at is a client needs to be coachable for me to be effective. Do you understand the benefits of having a coach? They answer. Great. One more thing. Every journey, I just want you to understand, has its ups and downs. Are you ready to stay positive throughout the journey and stay on the path with the understanding that this is the only way to get to where you want to be? Okay, they're going to answer that. Now we move on to step 8. Okay, and I hope you guys can see kind of this flow that we're getting in. So now we're into step 8. So here's where you're going to summarize the call. Summarize everything you've gotten to. So just to recap everything we just hit on, you told me, talk about the real problem, right? And that's why we're on the call today, because the truth is you really want, and this is where you get into their true motivation, the deep stuff that you brought out. That's why you came to me. Now, did I miss anything there? So here, maybe they'll miss something, maybe they won't, but you want to make sure you kind of get everything out. And then just to make sure, I would ask one more clarifying question. Because if you say, did I miss anything there, they're probably going to say no. Ask another clarifying question to always go a bit deeper. So I'm curious, what are your 2 biggest insights from our time together so far? Because now you're being very specific, right? So now they're going to tell you 2 things that they learned about themselves, or that they learned about why they want to work with you. Okay, now you're going to make the pitch. So the pitch is not just, like the Millhouse pitching, it costs $478. You're going to make the promise. What, you guys don't like my Millhouse pitch? It's basically...
So accurate.
So accurate. Well, if you work with me, then it's going to be $200 for 3 months. But if that's too much, then I can go a little bit cheaper than that. If that's not good, and if that's not good even more, then we can talk about that. So no, the pitch needs to have 3 parts. You go promise, process, features. So promise. Based on what you told me, I'm 100% confident that I can help you solve whatever their problems are. The reason I'm confident is because you remind me of another client of mine. Name them. He was a lot like you. Ideally, you're going to have a few stories of other clients that you can always bring up in here. Okay, then the process. So here's how I'm going to help you. First, I'm going to show you how to solve your first problem with this technique that I've developed, or with this special way of training, so that you can talk about their benefit. Okay, talk about the thing that they want to achieve. You're going to repeat that for all their problems. So if there's 2 problems, you're going to repeat that same process. Basically, it's how you're going to solve it with the pillar that you're going to solve it with a benefit, or ending with a benefit. And that's how, within X amount of weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever, you can achieve your goal, whatever the goal is. Now, do you want to hear a breakdown of the program? Yeah, I'd love to hear a breakdown. Awesome. So, and then here's where you just break down your program, right? Like every 4 weeks, I'll send you a new workout to help you, whatever, achieve your goals. On top of that, a custom tailor your diet plan, adjust it, blah, 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 right? All of the things that are included in your program. Then you mention the catch. So right here, they're basically expecting you to, say it's going to cost X amount of dollars. Here's where you mention the catch. It's a bit of a, it keeps them off balance, but increases the desire to enroll in the program by doing the unexpected here just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So then you just go right into you and you say, oh, but there's a catch. What? What's the catch? Sounds great. First, as I said earlier, you've got to be coachable and willing to take my feedback. Second, you got to be a positive person through this 12-week journey. And third, you have to stay on the path even when you're struggling, because this is your one chance to achieve whatever the result is. So if I show you how to achieve your result in the next 12 weeks, would you be able to do those 3 things? Yeah, great. So what do you need to know to make a decision today on my program? Bring up any questions? Awesome. What else do you need to know to make a decision today? Basically, keep working down if they ask about price. If they ask about price first, then you say, awesome, I'm more than happy to talk about that. But before I do, I'd love to know anything else you might need to know before we make a decision today. So basically, have the price conversation last. Okay, step 11 is just a bit of a litmus test. Before we talk about the investment, does this sound like something you might need? When they say yes, okay, I'm curious, why now?
Mm-hmm.
Once they say why now and you're satisfied with that, great. So would you like to discuss the investment? Okay, when it gets to the price, you could obviously just say it, but it's nice to kind of introduce it again. So you say, okay, so Amber, as we dig into the price, I want you to understand that this is not a temporary fix. It's not a Band-Aid. This is the full solution. So let me ask you, if you could snap your fingers and become that Amber Reynolds 2.0 we talked about, what would that be worth to you? Some people will say specific numbers. Some people will say, oh my God, that'd be everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. You're right. It would be priceless. It would be everything. You're right. That would be worth $10,000 because there's so much more to it. In fact, I just spoke to Carolina, who's just finishing the program, and I asked her, what would I have to pay you to go back to the way you were 12 weeks ago? And she said, you'd be at least $100,000. Like, my life has changed. But we don't charge $100,000 for the program because obviously, nobody could afford to work with us. We decided to price the program so everybody who's committed to it can afford it. So the full price of the program is X amount of dollars, $2,000, $3,000. And then you pause for a second. So just so you know, this includes everything we just talked about. It includes the workout program, the nutrition coaching, the weekly, whatever's involved, right? It includes everything you need to reach your dream. But for clients like you, if you want to get started today, we're able to take $1,000 off. But you got to get started right now. You need some incentive for them on the phone call, right?
Mm-hmm.
Depending now on what they do, you might offer to split it into 2 payments, but at this point, like, it's their chance to respond. You might offer to split it into payments, basically figure out a way to make it work for them. And then the last step is, if they say yes, your next question is Visa or MasterCard. Like, take the payment over the phone. Do not send the link. Take the payment over the phone from them. If they can't quite commit to the program right away, if they say they have to ask a spouse or something, take a deposit. Just say, hey, not a problem at all. I want to hold your spot for the program, and in order to do that, I need to take a deposit. Like if you decide after speaking with your spouse that this isn't right for you, totally understand. Happy to refund the deposit in full. But I need to just take a $50 deposit for the program right now. That's basically it. I mean, you can see it's a very involved sales call, but the entire purpose of that is just to go deep with that person, to get them to verbalize why they want it, why now, why you, and understand that themselves. You're not telling them anything. You're just repeating the words back to them. You're just asking them good questions.
Tremendous. We've clearly solved all your problems here again today on the Online Trainer Show. If you listen to that once, go back and listen to it again. After you listen to it the second time, make a decision to listen to it a third time, and fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh through 10th time. Then go back and take notes as you listen to it for the 11th time, because Jonathan Goodman just gave you the blueprint. Yeah, he just gave you the blueprint,
that's
man.
it. Like honestly, that's all.
That's what we do. And this is across multiple levels of OTA-ship, right? Because that's a hefty dose of some things that you might see in something that rhymes with level shoe OTA. I won't say what it is.
I'd really love to hear from Amber here on what she thinks.
Yeah, Amber, tell us what you think.
Amber, let's talk on the podcast. What do you think?
So excited.
Whoa.
Amber, you're muted. We can't hear you.
I'm on.
Yeah, let's hear it. What do you got to say?
About what? You said everything. That was right.
Well, there you have it, folks. Straight from Amber Reynolds.
We're basically done here.
She's fanning herself. She's fanning herself.
You're so good every time you speak on this podcast, and you're always so nervous.
It's the only reason I keep showing up. It's the only reason I keep showing up. Kiddo, you got anything to add here?
No, it's great. That's essentially all that we do. And for any trainers who think that they are not good in sales, well, you better start getting comfortable with it, because that's part of. Oh, can you hear me?
You froze. You froze just a bit, but you came back in. We can hear you.
Gotcha. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you did one of those.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, for the trainers who are not comfortable with sales, get comfortable, because it's just part of your job now. If you're gonna do it in this business, you have to know how to sell your services.
There we go. She's back.
I can't play this game.
Yeah, the internet doesn't want her to make it. Yeah, the internet just doesn't want her to say the last part of her statement. So you guys got the info here. Jonathan Goodman summarized it nicely. Remember sort of the building blocks of this. Number one, know who you're talking to, use their name. Be nice to them. That's the first building block. Second building block is to set the tone of the call. Like you got to do that up front. You got to tell them what's going to happen on the call. The next major block is just get an understanding of what they're going through and assist them in talking more deeply about it. If you do that right, you're going to hear things that their spouse has never heard them say. I promise you 100%. So make sure you get
wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. You're going to have your big boy britches or your big girl britches on, because you're going to hear some things that you don't expect. The next part of that is really you switching to heaven. We take them through hell and then we take them to heaven. The next part, that's what we do. And talk about all the goodness that's going to come out of it. You turn it right back around, and you're once again buying a little bit from the client. Setting the tone of them understanding the privilege and the responsibility on their end, being in the process, and then you go right back in the other direction and prime the pump to make sure that they are interested. You're doubling down on why do you want to do this? Why now? Why are you interested? Any other questions?
No, other than to point out that the term prime your pump
Yeah,
just sounds really disgusting.
that's all right. That's all right. It's a water thing. It's for getting water out of the well. So you set the expectation instead of priming the pump. Is that better? Bow chicka wow wow. And then
I think all of those things you said are disgusting.
and they may be. I'm not saying that they are, they aren't. But I'm getting the information out there. And we're about to wrap up. And
Amber has to cover her ears every time that you say prime your pump.
Amber
Amber has to cover hers.
it's like drinking a Fresca or something. She's got a mellow yellow. I don't know
You
what
notice how when Amber covers her ears, she actually gives like the little like internal
like
rotation,
like an
and flex.
internal, yeah, so you can see
She's
the
just like,
delts.
because she's always wearing a sleeveless shirt,
yeah.
right? So she covers her ears and just like flexes.
That's what she does.
That's right. Oh damn! Yeah, there it is.
Anyhow, and then you
guys gotta watch
confidently
these on
deliver
YouTube.
your
That
price.
was impressive development by Amber right there.
Then you deliver your price confidently, and you wait to see what they say.
There you go, done.
And then that's
We
it.
did it.
That's it. I've got to run. I've got an OTC call covering all the O's and the T's and the other alphabet today. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Online Trainer Show. Catalina's gone dark. She's gone black market. I don't know what's going on with Carol today.
We got to call some sort of elected official from her city
Probably
in order to fix the internet. I feel like
probably
somebody potentially with mayoral power could probably fix the crappy internet there. Like, they gotta run some cables out there or something.
Yeah, we gotta build. We got to infrastructure.
For Elon Musk to figure it out. All these small towns, they're just like Elon Musk to figure out our internet.
Some type of bond or referendum for her internet provider.
Yes,
the vote needs to happen. Go out and vote, America. Whoever you want to, we don't care. Just go do it because you can. And we'll see you next time on show notes. onlinetrainer.com/podcast. See all the show notes and leave us a review. And you're welcome. Is the only other thing we need to say here. Yeah. You benefited from greatness here today. How do I log out? I don't even know how to log out anymore. Jingle, jingle.
This is the Online Trainer Show. Trainer Show. Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show.
We shouldn't have a podcast.